Coming into this first round series with the Tampa Bay Lightning, few picked the Columbus Blue Jackets to make it to the second round. And that's not just because the Lightning were the best team in hockey during the regular season. It's because the Jackets have never done it before. But now with a commanding 3-0 lead, the Jackets are on the brink of making franchise history. That's right, guys, a lot of hype and excitement here at the Ohio State spring game as a new era of Buckeye football got underway. The CBJ stole Game 2 in overtime from Boston thanks to 2 goals in regulation from Artemi Panarin and a game winner from Matt Duchene. Philly's been riding the strength of its defense all the way to the Super Bowl after shutting down the Minnesota Vikings in the NFC Championship game. But they'll have the extremely tough task of stopping the greatest quarterback in NFL history. It's a somber morning outside a Nationwide arena as the Columbus Blue Jackets' quest for the Stanley Cup has come to an end. It's a great coaching matchup tonight as Archie Miller brings his Indiana Hoosiers to Columbus for the first time to battle Chris Holtman's Buckeyes. It was a dominant performance by the now 5-1 Ohio State Buckeyes, both on the offensive and defensive ends, en route to a 62-14 win over Maryland. The basketball Buckeyes weren't supposed to be in the position that they're in. In fact, it was quite the opposite. And with their backs against the wall, it's now or never for the Columbus Blue Jackets if they want to continue the best season in franchise history. It's a pivotal Game 3 here tonight at Nationwide Arena between the Boston Bruins and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Legendary Buckeye Eddie George was honorary captain for the Buckeyes today. The 1995 Heisman Trophy winner was elated to be back in the stadium. They carry so many memories for he and the Buckeye faithful. All in all, it was a step forward for the Columbus Blue Jackets this season, finally getting that first round playoff series victory. But the season ends in the second round of the Boston Bruins in 6 games. We'll keep track of the team's moves this offseason as it hopes to retain as many of its stars as possible. Reporting outside of Nationwide Arena, I'm Tino Bovenzi, ABC 6 Sports. Buckeyes program seems to be in great hands with Ryan Day at the helm. We're not quite sure who's the starting quarterback just yet, but we'll follow that all the way through training camp leading up to the August 31st opener. Buckeye guard Kelsey Mitchell stands alone. The senior needed 18 points to become the all-time Big Ten leading scorer, male or female. The Ohio State Buckeyes bounced back from a heartbreaking loss to Penn State by manhandling the Indiana Hoosiers 71-56 from start to finish. Impressive rally by both players, but Hallop's backhand finds the net, and Wozniacki takes home the victory. Caroline, finally a champion after 43 tries. She wins in 3 sets, 7-6, 3-6, 6-4. The Ohio State Buckeyes just defeated the Indiana Hoosiers 38-17 behind 2 touchdowns from J.T. Barrett. But the most memorable thing from today's game didn't come from the game, it came from halftime. Bad news, ladies. Aaron Rodgers is once again in a relationship. This time, believe it or not, with a Bears fan. And she's a pretty famous one at that. The Larry Nassar sexual assault scandal at Michigan State is only part of the story in East Lansing. Sexual assault seems to be the issue for the school's top 2 programs, including Spartan football. They get the ball first, and Demetric Crenshaw gets the party started by steamrolling a defender on his way to the end zone. Ohio State is sitting 17th in the polls currently after losing a heartbreaker to Penn State this past weekend in the final seconds. 2 former Buckeyes in the Senior Bowl down south this afternoon. The flag planter, Baker Mayfield, not a real popular guy around here, but former Buckeye Jalen Holmes certainly is. He crashes the world as South quarterback Ken Burkert. Turn out the lights, the party's over. Ohio State head coach Urban Meyer quickly shifted focus from this game, this win over Michigan State, to next week's game against the Wolverines. In good news for fans of Packers head coach Mike McCarthy, the leader of the Pack was extended by 1 year. The short-term extension announcement comes on the heels of what was a disappointing season for Green Bay that ended in a 7-9 campaign, where his Packers missed the playoffs for the first time since 2009. The Ohio State Buckeyes just defeated the Northwestern Wildcats 24-20 in a hard-fought Big Ten battle here in Ohio Stadium. Those were 2 of LeBron's 26 points as the Cavs held on to beat the Pacers 115-108. LBJ also posted 10 rebounds and 11 assists, marking the Kings' 63rd triple-double. Some bad luck for OSU as Denzel Ward was ejected for targeting on this play. And that's thanks in part to the play of redshirt junior forward Keita Bates-Diop. On the season, Keita is averaging nearly 20 points and 10 rebounds a game. It's not a pretty night for the Wolverines. We take you to the second quarter, and the Spartans fake the reverse, setting up the screen to Mondre London, who has a cavalry of blockers and takes it into the end zone. The Ohio State Buckeyes were able to pick up their 3rd win of the season tonight against the Providence Friars with a 72-67 win. The Buckeyes were led by sophomore guard Jaquan Lyle, who dropped 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. Central is led by star quarterback Dimitri Crenshaw. The super sophomore is grateful for the chance to take his team to the promised land. The hype is real for these Pick Central Tigers, and the head ball coach knows it's go time in Canton. Only one question remains. Is Ohio State in the playoff? I don't think there's any way you leave Ohio State out after this win today. After the Tigers fumble, Tatarunas hits Stephen Byard for a wide-open 46-yard touchdown pass. Another beautiful play from men. A game that's been the talk of the state all week long. Pickerington Central slugging it out with Colerain out of Cincinnati. First quarter, and Colerain takes the early 7-0 lead on Deontay Smith-Moore's QB keeper. Third quarter now, and the Tigers are trailing 21-7 when Dimitri Crenshaw gets things going on this big gainer to Terry Simwell. That play led to this. Crenshaw drops back, has time, but no one's open, so he scrambles a bit and then finds a wide-open Lorenzo Styles Jr. Styles bounces it up the sideline and ends up putting it in the end zone to trim the Cardinals' lead to 21-14, but it wasn't meant to be. Smith-Moore again punches it in on the QB keeper, and that would be the dagger. Pickerington Central falls to Colerain 28-14.